Listen closely. If you truly wish to transform your world, you must be willing to test your own imagination. If you aren't willing to do this simple thing, then you are choosing to stay asleep in your current limitations. Take a clean sheet of paper. This isn't just a list. It is a contract with your subconscious. I want you to look at your life and write down 10 desires as if they are already yours. Do not say I will be or I want. Instead, speak from the end. Write I am, I have, I achieve. Feel the weight of the pen as you claim these truths. Now ask yourself, if I had the power of the Creator right now, and I could bring just one of these into my physical world within 24 hours, which one would change my entire being? Your soul will tell you. Circle that one. Transfer that desire to its own page. Now we move from the idea to the state. You must define exactly what this reality looks like. Set your date, list the details. But then you must do the one thing most people forget. You must act as if. Every day, move in the world as the person who has already achieved it. Your checklist is a celebration of the path you are walking. If you can occupy this new state of mind and refuse to be moved by the shadows of your senses, nothing in this world can stop you. But over the next 7 chapters, if you stay with me and do the work, you will no longer be a victim of your circumstances. You will realize that the shadows you've been afraid of are nothing more than reflections of an old mindset you've outgrown. By the time you finish this journey, you won't just know how to manifest. You will be a person for whom success is a natural, inevitable law. Here is the path we are walking together more into details. Chapter 1. The Wake-Up Call. The Burden of Choice. My friend, let's sit down and speak heart to heart, because what I'm about to tell you is the very reason you have felt like you've been running on a treadmill, moving fast but staying in the exact same place. You see, most of the people you pass on the street today are not truly awake. They are walking, talking, and working, but they are operating in a sleeping state. I don't mean they need more rest. I mean they are spiritually asleep to the truth of who they are. They believe they are victims of the economy, victims of their upbringing, or victims of bad luck. Think about your daily life. When you wake up and look at your bank account, or you see a strained relationship, or you feel a lack of vitality in your body, how do you react? If you are like most, you react to what your eyes see. You let the facts of the world dictate your mood. If the bank account is low, you feel poor. If the room is empty, you feel lonely. This, my friend, is the sleeping state. You are allowing the shadows on the screen of space to tell you who you are. You are stuck in limitations because you have forgotten that the world outside is not a cause. It is a result. To stay asleep is to keep trying to change the reflection in the mirror without ever changing the face looking into it. It is exhausting, isn't it? Trying to fix your life by working harder, complaining louder, or wishing for a break. We stay stuck because we have been trained from childhood to be realistic. We are told to look at the hard facts, but I am here to tell you that those facts are nothing more than the frozen thoughts of your past. By reacting to them, you simply recreate them. You trap yourself in a loop of the same yesterday over and over again. I want you to realize right now, you are not a victim of the world. You are the author of it, but you've been writing in your sleep. It's time to rub the sleep from your eyes. You're capable of a life that would make your current self tremble with joy, not because you'll get lucky, but because you will finally claim your birthright as a creator. You aren't listening this by accident. You are reading this because that spark of the divine within you is tired of the limitations. It's tired of the just enough and the maybe someday. The encouragement I offer you is this: the moment you stop giving the shadows of your senses the power to hurt you, they lose all power. But this leads us to a mystery that most people dismiss as mere daydreaming. If your current world is just a reflection of your past thoughts, What is the name of the internal workshop where your future is being built right this second? Let us pull back the curtain and discover the difference between fantasy and the true power of your imagination. My friend, now that we have rubbed the sleep from our eyes, let's go deeper. Most people in this world use the word imagination to describe something childish or unreal. They think of it as a place to escape when the real world gets too difficult. But I want to look you in the eye and tell you the truth. Your imagination is not an escape. It is the workshop of reality. When I speak of the divine human, I am speaking of you. I am speaking of that spark within you that is actually God in action. And that spark doesn't use a hammer or a chisel to build a life. It uses the imagination. I want you to stop thinking of your mind as a place that merely records what happens to you. Instead, start seeing it as a factory. Everything you see in this great country of ours, from the skyscrapers in New York to the technology in your pocket, was once only an image in someone's imagination. It had to be felt as real there before it could be touched here. Next, I'd like to touch up on the difference between fantasy and vision. Fantasy is when you sit on your couch and wish for $1 million while feeling poor. That is a daydream and it has no power. Vision, the workshop of the divine human, is when you sit in the silence and actually feel the texture of the money, smell the leather of the new car, and hear the voice of a friend congratulating you on your success. When you do this, you aren't pretending. You are actually standing in a higher dimension of reality. You are planting a seed in the subconscious. You see, the imagination is the only redemptive power in the universe. It is how you repent, which simply means to change your mind. I want to encourage you, you're not too old, too broke, or too far behind to start building in this workshop. The divine human within you doesn't care about your resume or your past mistakes. It only cares about the I am you are claiming right now. Next, I'd like to speak about how you actually use this workshop. You don't go there to get something, you go there to become someone. When you enter your imagination, you are the architect, the builder, and the occupant all at once. You are literally rearranging the atoms of your future with the intensity of your focused thought. It is a beautiful, breathtaking power. But as we stand here at the door of this workshop, I have to be honest with you. Knowing how to build is one thing, but actually being willing to walk inside and stay there is another. Now, I am wondering if you have noticed something curious about your own heart. Why is it that we can see the blueprint of a perfect life so clearly, yet we find ourselves hesitating at the very moment we are asked to let go of the old one? What is it within us that clings so tightly to the chains we claim to hate? Next, I'd like to speak about the decision and why that first step of being truly willing to change is often the most difficult battle you will ever fight. And you see, many people talk about change, they pray for change, and they even buy books about change, but very few are truly willing to change. In this great country of ours, we are taught to be go-getters, but we are rarely taught how to be let-goers. And that, my dear friend, is the secret. To become the person you desire to be, you must be willing to completely die to the person you used to be. Why is this the hardest step? It's because old you, the one to make the decision to change, is to step out into the nakedness of the unknown. I want to encourage you. That fear you feel when you think about truly becoming successful, truly being loved, or truly being healthy, that isn't a sign of weakness. It is a sign that the old man is dying. The divine human within you is pushing against the walls of your current reality. To make the decision is to say, I no longer recognize the person I was 5 minutes ago. I only recognize the I am of my desire. Next, I'd like to speak about what it means to be willing. It isn't a wish, it's a funeral and a birth happening at once. You must be so hungry for your new reality that you are willing to ignore the facts of your life, You must be willing to have people look at you and wonder why you've changed. Most people fail here because they want to take their old problems with them into their new life. They want the $1 million, but they want to keep their poor man mindset. They want the perfect relationship, but they want to keep their rejected identity. It cannot be done. You cannot serve two masters. Now, I am wondering if you realize how many times you have made a decision in your mind only to have it vanish by the next morning. We have all been there. We feel the fire of inspiration. We see the vision in our workshop, but then the sun comes up, the bills arrive, and the vision fades like a dream. We need a way to lock it in. We need a way to move this decision from the fleeting air of thought into the solid ground of the physical world. This brings me to a question that might change the way you look at your desk forever. Is it possible that a simple tool used by every child in school could actually be the physical seal that binds your subconscious to your new destiny? Next, I'd like to speak about the sacred contract and how the simple act of moving a pen across a page creates a bridge between the unseen world and the world you see with your eyes. My friend, we have reached a very special moment in our journey. You have made the decision to wake up and you have glimpsed the power of your inner workshop. Now we must ground that power. I'd like to speak about why I asked you to take a clean sheet of paper. In our modern world, we are surrounded by screens and buttons. We type, we click, and we scroll. But when it comes to the divine human within you, there is a sacred mystery in the physical act of writing that technology simply cannot replicate. I want you to think of your pen not as an office tool, but as a magic wand that conducts the electricity of your soul onto the physical plane. Next, I'd like to touch up on the science of writing. When you type on a keyboard, your brain uses a very simple, repetitive motion for every letter. But when you pick up a pen and move it across a page to form the words I am, you are engaging thousands of tiny motor neurons. You are creating a unique physical seal for every thought. This is what I call the sacred contract. When you write your desires by hand, you are signaling to your subconscious that this isn't just a fleeting digital clip or a passing thought. You are physically carving your new reality into the 3D world. You are condensing the spirit into matter. It is the first step of the manifestation process, taking the invisible breath of an idea and making it a visible, tangible mark on a page. I want to encourage you as you sit down to write your 10 desires, don't rush. Feel the resistance of the paper. Feel the ink flowing. This physical sensation is your anchor. It tells your nervous system, this is happening, this is real. Typing is for the world of doing and business, but writing is for the world of being. When you write, I have achieved my goal, the rhythm of your hand creates a vibration that echoes into the deep, silent parts of your mind where your beliefs are stored. You are literally reprogramming your internal hard drive by hand. Now, I am wondering if you have ever felt that strange electric thrill when you write something down and suddenly know it will come true. That is the contract being signed by your higher self. It is the moment the idea stops being a stranger and starts being a house guest. But my friend, writing the words is only the beginning of the ceremony. There is a specific way to frame these words, a secret language that the subconscious understands, and a trap that almost everyone falls into when they start their list. What if the very words you use to describe your dream are actually the reason it is being kept away from you? Next, I'd like to speak about the 10 desires exercise and how to use the language of the end to ensure your subconscious doesn't just hear your words but feels your truth. Next, I'd like to speak about the 10 desires exercise, and specifically the hidden trap that catches nearly every seeker in this great nation. We are a people of ambition and hustle, but in the workshop of the subconscious, ambition can often be a confession of failure. I want to encourage you to listen with your heart here. When you write the words "I want" or "I will be," you are telling your subconscious mind that you do not have it. You are broadcasting a frequency of lack. And because your subconscious is a faithful servant, it will simply give you more of what you are feeling. It will give you more wanting. You will stay in a perpetual state of getting there, but never arriving. To the divine human within you, there is no future. There is only the eternal now. Next, I'd like to touch up on the language of the end. To manifest, you must speak the language of the kingdom you wish to inhabit. You must write your 10 desires as if they are current, breathing facts. Instead of "I want a new home," you write "I am so grateful for my beautiful sun-drenched home." Instead of "I will be healthy," you write "I have a body that overflows with vitality and strength." The 10 pillars of your new world. As you begin this list of 10, I want you to feel the weight of each claim. Do not merely write them, claim them. 1. Be bold. Don't ask for just enough. The Creator within you doesn't deal in pennies, Joe. 2. Be present. Use "I am," "I have," or "I achieve." 3. Be sensory. If you are writing about a new career, don't just write the title, feel the firm handshake of your new partner or the satisfaction of your first paycheck. As you write these 10, you might feel a little voice in your head whispering, "But this isn't true yet." I want you to smile at that voice. That is just the old you trying to keep you asleep. Remind yourself that you're writing the blueprint, and the blueprint always precedes the building. Next, I'd like to speak about what happens once those 10 truths are staring back at you from the paper. It is a moment of immense power, but it can also feel overwhelming. How do you focus the sun's rays so they actually start a fire? Now, I am wondering if you can feel the difference in the air when you stop wishing and start proclaiming. It feels heavier, doesn't it? More solid. But out of these 10 stars in your sky, there is one that shines with a light so bright it could change the very atmosphere of your existence. If you had the power to reach out and pull just one of these truths into your physical reality by this time tomorrow, which one would make every other problem in your life simply dissolve? Next, I'd like to speak about the ultimate pivot and why identifying your one great desire is the moment the universe finally starts to move on your behalf. My friend, we are standing at the very altar of creation. Now that you have your pen in hand, we must discuss the I am language, the most powerful frequency in the universe. I want to talk to you about why those 2 words, I am, are the sacred name of the Creator within you. In our daily life here in the States, we've been conditioned to be strivers. We are taught that the more we want something, the harder we will work for it. But I am here to tell you that in the spiritual workshop, wanting is your greatest enemy. When you say "I want," you are broadcasting a loud, clear signal to the subconscious that you do not have. You are affirming the void. And because the law of your being is to reflect what you feel yourself to be, the universe will faithfully return to you more wanting. You will stay in a perpetual state of hunger. Instead, we must switch the dial to the frequency of fulfillment. We must use the language of "I have." I would like to explore how this shift actually feels in your body. When you say "I want to be successful," there is a tightness in your chest, a reach for something that isn't there. But when you close your eyes and whisper, "I am successful," a sense of relief washes over you. That relief is the sign that you have successfully impregnated the subconscious. You are no longer seeking, you have found. I want to encourage you, do not be afraid to speak this way, even if your physical world looks the same as it did yesterday. You aren't lying, you are telling a higher truth. Instead of "I want a better career," you write, "I have an overflowing abundance of opportunity." Instead of "I want to be loved," you write "I am cherished, seen, and deeply loved." Instead of "I want to be debt-free," you write "I have more than enough to share and to spare." I would like to touch upon the weight of the claim. As you write these "I have" statements, I want you to feel the heaviness of the ink, feel the authority of your own voice. You are a king or a queen signing a decree. A decree does not say "I hope this happens," it says "it is done." I am curious to see how your heart reacts as you finish this list. There is a specific kind of peace that comes when you stop chasing the horizon and realize the horizon is already within you. You have laid out 10 pillars of a new life, 10 truths that are now vibrating in the unseen world, waiting for you to give them your full attention. But even a creator must choose where to strike the first match. Now I am wondering, as you look down at those 10 beautiful finished realities, do you feel one of them pulling at you more than the others? Is there one truth on that page that, if it became physical reality right now, would make the rest of your life feel like a glorious victory lap? I would like to speak about how we find that pearl of great price, the one desire that will shift your entire being from the inside out. Chapter 3, The Ultimate Pivot, Identifying the One. You have done something magnificent. You have laid out 10 pillars of a new world on your paper. But now we must move from the many to the one. In this vast and busy country of ours, we are taught to juggle 1,000 things at once. But the divine human within you operates through the power of a single focused lens. I would like to guide you through what I call the ultimate pivot. This is the moment where you stop being a dreamer and start being a master. I want you to look at those 10 desires and ask yourself this specific, piercing question. If I had the power of the Creator right now, and I do, and I could bring just one of these into my physical world within 24 hours, which one would change my entire being? Listen to the weight of that question. I am not asking which one is the most logical or which one would pay the most bills. I am asking which one would shift the very identity of who you are. When that one thing arrives, you won't just have a new thing, you will be a new person. Your soul will skip a beat when you hit the right one. That jump in your chest, that is the signal. I would like to speak about the difference between a need and a soul desire. A need is often born from fear, the fear of not having enough, the fear of what others think, or the pressure of your current limitations. A soul desire, however, is born from expansion. If you circle a desire because you feel you must have it to survive, you are still operating from the old man. But if you circle a desire because the thought of it makes you feel expansive, joyous, and free, even if it seems impossible to your current senses, then you have found your North Star. One is an escape from hell, the other is a claim on heaven. I want to encourage you to be brave here. Do not circle the safe choice. Circle the one that makes your heart sing. Now we perform a physical act of devotion. Take a completely fresh, clean sheet of paper. This is no longer just a list. This is the blueprint of the new you. I would like to speak about the transfer. When you move that one desire from a list of 10 to its own dedicated page, you are telling the universe, this is my command. This is where I strike. By giving it its own space, you are removing the clutter of the other 9. You are giving your subconscious a single, clear image to manifest. I am wondering if you can feel the shift in the room as you do this. The air becomes still. The noise of the world fades. You have moved from the idea to the state. You have identified your pearl of great price. And by setting it on its own page, you have begun the process of hardening that thought into fact. But once you have the what, a new question often arises, one that causes many to stumble and fall back into the sleeping state. How do we take this single sentence and turn it into a living, breathing reality that you can see, touch, and smell? I would like to explore the architect's blueprint, where we define the exact details of this new state and set the date for its arrival. Chapter 4. Defining the state, the architect's blueprint. You have your pearl of great price written on its own page. It is a beautiful start, but a sentence on a page is like a seed in a packet. It is a promise of life, but it has not yet been planted. To plant it, the divine human within you must use the language the subconscious understands above all else: sensory vividness. I would like to speak about how we turn a cold written statement into a warm, living reality. You see, the subconscious mind does not know the difference between a physical event and a sensory-rich imagination. When you provide it with the flavor of a moment, it accepts it as a fact and immediately begins to rearrange your world to match it. I want to encourage you to stop thinking about your goal and start experiencing it. In your inner workshop, I want you to walk through the doors of your new life and use your 5 senses to anchor yourself there. If your desire is a new home, do not just look at a picture of it. In your mind's eye, I want you to feel the cool touch of the metal key in your palm. I want you to hear the click of the lock as it turns. I want you to smell the fresh paint or the scent of the garden through the open window. I would like to touch up on the touch specifically, for it is the most grounding of all senses. If you were already the person you claim to be, what would you be holding? Is it the steering wheel of that car? Is it the hand of a partner? Is it the fabric of a suit or a dress that represents your new status? Feel the texture. If you can feel it, you possess it. I would like to speak about the tones of reality. When you are in your workshop, make the colors vivid. Make the sounds crisp. If a friend is congratulating you, do not just hear the words, hear the specific tone of their voice, the warmth in their eyes, and the firmness of their hug. The divine human does not hope it will happen. The divine human remembers it as if it has already occurred. By involving your senses, you are giving your desire the density it needs to manifest in this 3D world. You are making it so real internally that the external world becomes the shadow and your vision becomes the substance. I want you to spend time in this state until you are saturated with the feeling of it. When you open your eyes and look at your current room, you should feel a slight shock, as if you have just returned from a long trip. That is the sign that the work is done. Now, I am wondering if you feel a sense of impatience rising within you. It is a very human thing to ask, when? How long must I wait for the shadow to catch up to the light? We live in a society that demands instant results, yet we see the seasons move at their own pace. Is it possible that you can actually command the clock, or must you bow to the mystery of divine timing? I would like to speak about setting the date and how to strike that perfect balance between your human commitment and the divine unfolding of your new world. We have built the scene and felt the textures of your new world, but now we must address the bridge between then and now. I would like to speak about setting the date. In our fast-paced world, we are obsessed with the calendar. We want everything yesterday, but when you operate as the divine human, you must understand a sacred secret. A date is not a deadline you set in fear, it is a claim of certainty. I want to encourage you to see the set date as the moment you decide the harvest is ready. Think of it like this: if you were to book a flight to a beautiful destination, you wouldn't spend every day pacing the floor, worrying if the plane will exist. You would simply look at the date on your ticket and begin preparing your bags. I would like to touch up on the balance between divine timing and human commitment. Your commitment is to stay faithful to the feeling of the end. The divine timing is simply the shortest, most efficient path the universe takes to bring that feeling into physical form. By picking a date, let's say 90 days from now, you are giving your subconscious a frame. You are saying, by this time, I will be walking in this reality. It isn't about forcing the world to hurry, it's about commanding your own mind to stop wavering. Next, I would like to speak about the details. You have the sensory bits, the smell, the touch, but now we must string them together into a clear mental movie. I want you to construct a short 3 to 5 second scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. Don't make it a long, complicated epic. Make it a loop. If you want that promotion, the movie isn't you working hard at your desk. The movie is your boss shaking your hand and saying, "Congratulations, you've earned this," while you feel the pride swelling in your chest. I would like to speak about why this loop is so vital. By repeating this one specific detailed scene over and over in your mind as you fall asleep, you are boring the idea into the deep layers of your subconscious. You are providing the blueprint with such clarity that there is no room for doubt. I want to encourage you, do not get bogged down in the how. The how is the business of the shadow world. Your only job is the what and the who. Who are you in that movie? What does the air feel like in that moment? Now, I am wondering if you realize that the most dangerous part of this process is not the dreaming. It is the waking up. You can spend 10 minutes in a glorious mental movie, but what happens when you open your eyes and see the same old walls, the same old bank balance, and the same old problems? This is where 99% of people fail. They let the shadows of their current life tell them their movie was a lie. How do you walk through a world that says no while your heart is screaming yes? I would like to speak about the one thing most people forget, and how to move through your day not as someone seeking a goal, but as the person who has already achieved it. Chapter 5. The Forgotten Key, Acting as If. We have built the vision and we have set the seal upon the date, but now we come to the part where the rubber meets the road. I would like to speak about the psychology of embodiment. You see, most people in this great land are waiters. They think, when I get the money, then I'll feel secure, or when I find the love of my life, then I'll feel worthy. But the divine human knows that the world is a mirror. It cannot give you what you do not first claim to be. To move in the world as the successful version of yourself is not about pretending, it is about a total psychological takeover. I want to encourage you to realize that embodiment means you no longer look at your desire, you look from it. If you were already the person who achieved that one great desire on your page, how would you view the morning traffic? How would you look at your grocery bill? You wouldn't be anxious, because the person you've become is already settled. There is a quietness, a dignity, and a secret joy that lives in the heart of one who knows their harvest is already in the barn. Next, I'd like to touch up on why this is so vital for your subconscious. Your subconscious mind is constantly eavesdropping on your vibe. If you spend 10 minutes imagining wealth, but the other 23 hours of the day feeling broke and reacting to bills with fear, you are canceling out your own creation. Embodiment is the act of staying in the state until it becomes your natural home. It is deciding that your internal vision is the solid reality and the world outside is just a fading echo of who you used to be. I would like to speak about the person you have already become. This person doesn't beg. This person doesn't hope. This person is. Chapter 5. The Forgotten Key, Acting as If. We have built the vision and we have set the seal upon the date, but now we come to the part where the rubber meets the road. I would like to speak about the psychology of embodiment. You see, most people in this great land are waiters. They think, when I get the money, then I'll feel secure, or when I find the love of my life, then I'll feel worthy. But the divine human knows that the world is a mirror. It cannot give you what you do not first claim to be. To move in the world as the successful version of yourself is not about pretending, it is about a total psychological takeover. I want to encourage you to realize that embodiment means you no longer look at your desire, you look from it. If you were already the person who achieved that one great desire on your page, how would you view the morning traffic? How would you look at your grocery bill? You wouldn't be anxious, because the person you've become is already settled. There is a quietness, a dignity, and a secret joy that lives in the heart of one who knows their harvest is already in the barn. Next, I'd like to touch up on why this is so vital for your subconscious. Your subconscious mind is constantly eavesdropping on your vibe. If you spend 10 minutes imagining wealth, but the other 23 hours of the day feeling broke and reacting to bills with fear, you are canceling out your own creation. Embodiment is the act of staying in the state until it becomes your natural home. It is deciding that your internal vision is the solid reality and the world outside is just a fading echo of who you used to be. I would like to speak about the person you have already become. This person doesn't beg. This person doesn't hope. This person is. When you walk into a room, I want you to feel that your desire is a fait accompli, a finished fact. You aren't trying to manifest. You are simply walking the path of a life that is already yours. This shift in your psychology changes your very chemistry. It changes the way people look at you, the way opportunities find you, and the way you handle the day-to-day shadows of life. I want to encourage you. This is the most fun you will ever have. It is the great game of life. You get to choose the character you play. Why play the role of the struggler when you have already written the script of the winner? Now, I am wondering if you've ever noticed that when your internal world changes, your external movements start to change without you even trying. The way you hold your coffee cup, the way you answer the phone, even the way you stand in line at the bank. It all begins to shift when the embodiment takes hold. But what if we didn't wait for it to happen automatically? What if we intentionally adjusted the small things to lock in the big reality? Could it be that the secret to your entire future is hidden in the way you square your shoulders or the tone of your voice when you say hello? Next, I'd like to speak about micro-behaviors and how changing your physical posture and speech can act as a hack to keep your mind anchored in your new state. Micro-behaviors, changing your posture, your speech, and your reactions to match your new state. The mirror principle. Understanding that the world reflects who you are, not what you want. I would like to speak about micro-behaviors. These are the tiny, almost invisible adjustments in your daily life that act as a constant signal to your subconscious. If your mind is the architect, these micro-behaviors are the finishing nails that hold the house together. You cannot claim to be a king while slouching like a beggar. You cannot claim to be abundant while whispering in fear. I want to encourage you to look at your physical body as a radio antenna. Are you broadcasting the frequency of the person you wrote about on that dedicated page? Next, I'd like to touch up on posture and speech. If you were already that successful, loved, and healthy version of yourself, how would you be sitting right now? You would likely find your shoulders dropping away from your ears. Your spine would lengthen. You wouldn't be protecting yourself from the world. You would be open to it. I would like to speak about your voice as well. The old you might have spoken with hesitation, using words like hopefully, maybe, or I'll try. But the new you speaks with the quiet authority of a finished fact. You don't need to shout, you just need to be firm. When someone asks how you are, you don't list your problems. You say, "I am wonderful," and you mean it because you're looking at your internal vision, not your external shadows. This leads us to a profound truth that I like to call the mirror principle. In this country, we are taught to go out and get it. We are told that if we want something, we must chase it down. But I am here to tell you that you can never get what you want. You can only have what you are. The world is a mirror, my friend. It is a giant living reflection of your internal state of being. I would like to speak about why wanting is so dangerous. If you stand in front of a physical mirror and want to see your hair combed, you don't reach out and try to comb the reflection. Do you know? That would be foolish. You comb your own hair and the reflection has no choice but to follow. The world operates exactly the same way. If you are reacting to the world with frustration, the mirror must reflect back more things to be frustrated about. But if you change your internal micro behaviors, if you react with the poise and grace of the person who has already won, the mirror of the world must change its image to match you. It is law. It is not a preference. It is a mathematical certainty of the soul. I want to encourage you, start treating every person you meet and every bill you pay as a chance to practice this. Don't pay a bill with a sigh of lack. Pay it with the thank you of a person who has an infinite supply. Now, I am wondering if you can see the trap that most people fall into when they first learn this. They try it for a day, they square their shoulders, they speak with confidence, and then they look at their bank account or their empty house and they see that nothing has changed yet. They get discouraged. They say, "The mirror is broken." But what if the mirror isn't broken? What if it's just waiting to see if you are truly serious about this new version of yourself? Next, I'd like to speak about facing the shadows and how to handle the test of faith when your physical senses try to scream that your new reality isn't real. Chapter 6, Facing the Shadows, the Test of Faith. We have reached the place where most seekers turn back. We have built the vision, we have practiced the walk, and we have signed the contract. But now you step out into the real world, and the world seems to shout at you. I would like to speak about the illusion of senses. In our logic-driven society, we are taught that seeing is believing. We are told that if the bank account says 0, you are poor. If the doctor says you are ill, you are sick. If the house is empty, you are alone. But as the divine human, I want to encourage you to realize that your physical senses are not reporters of truth. They are merely historians of your past thoughts. What you see with your eyes right now is the after image of who you used to be. It is like looking at the light of a star that died thousands of years ago. The light is still traveling, but the source is gone. Next, I'd like to touch up on what to do when your environment says no. When you look at that bank balance and it doesn't match your I am statement, you must not react. If you react, you are reseeding the old reality. You are falling back asleep. Instead, you must look straight through the numbers. You must say to yourself, "This is a shadow. This is the harvest of a seed I no longer plant. My true reality is the one I have already felt as real." I would like to speak about the persistence of the vision. To walk as the new you means being blind to the evidence of your senses when they contradict your heart. It takes a certain kind of spiritual courage to stand in a cold room and feel the warmth of your success. But I promise you, if you refuse to be moved by the no of the world will eventually bow and give you a yes. I want to encourage you. Do not argue with the shadows. Do not try to fix the bank account or beg the person to love you. That is like trying to change the movie by scrubbing the projector screen. You must go back to the projector, your imagination, and keep the film running. Next, I'd like to speak about the mental diet, because you see, the world doesn't just speak to you through your bank account. It speaks through the news, through your well-meaning but skeptical friends, and through that nagging little voice in your own head. I would like to touch up on the fact that your manifestation is a living thing. It is like a seed in a garden. If you plant a seed of wealth but then spend the rest of your day watering it with thoughts of poverty, worry, and doubt, that seed will never sprout. You must become the gatekeeper of your own mind. Now, I am wondering if you realize that your mind is never actually silent. Even when you aren't manifesting, you are constantly talking to yourself. You're having an internal conversation from the moment you wake up until the moment you drift off. Is it possible that these unseen conversations you have with yourself are more powerful than the words you speak out loud to the world? I would like to speak about your mental diet. In our modern world, we are very careful about the food we put into our bodies, aren't we? We read labels and avoid toxins because we want to be healthy. But the divine human knows that the thoughts you consume are far more important than the food you eat. Your mental diet is the total sum of the conversations you have with yourself throughout the day. I want to encourage you to listen to yourself. Most people are unaware that they are constantly arguing against their own desires. They write, "I am wealthy" on paper, but then they spend the afternoon thinking, "Things are so expensive," or "I don't know how I'll make ends meet." Next, I'd like to touch up on guarding the sanctuary. Your imagination is a sacred space, but most people leave the door wide open for any stranger to walk in. External negativity, the cynical news, the realistic friend who tells you why your dream won't work, or the social media feed that makes you feel less than, is a poison to your mental diet. You must become a fierce gatekeeper. If a thought or a conversation does not align with the new you must have the courage to say, "I am not at home to that thought." Doubt is not a sign of failure. It is simply the old man trying to survive. When a negative thought arises, don't fight it with anger. That only gives it more energy. Instead, simply starve it of your attention. I want to encourage you to practice mental substitution. The moment you catch yourself thinking a thought of lack, immediately replace it with your "I am" claim. If the thought says it's not working, you answer with, "I am so grateful that it is already done." You must be persistent. You wouldn't eat a piece of rotten fruit just because it was sitting on the counter. Do not allow a rotten thought to sit in your mind just because it appeared. Next, I'd like to speak about the quiet victory. A strict mental diet eventually leads to a state of natural faith. When you have disciplined your mind to only entertain thoughts that serve your vision, you no longer have to try to manifest. You simply are the manifestation. You become unshakable, like a mountain that doesn't care about the clouds passing by. I am wondering, now that your mind is becoming a fortress of light, do you feel the lightness in your step? Do you feel the heavy burden of worry starting to fall away? What if the work is actually over, and all that remains is for you to walk into the party that was thrown in your honor? I would like to speak about refusing to be moved. In our modern culture, we are taught to be flexible and to pivot based on what the market or the news tells us. But when it comes to the divine human within you, flexibility is often just a fancy word for doubt. To manifest the life you wrote on that dedicated page, you must develop the mental stamina to remain as unyielding as a mountain, even when a storm of current circumstances is howling in your face. I want to encourage you to understand that your only responsibility is to stay in the state. Next, I'd like to touch up on what mental stamina really looks like. It isn't about gritting your teeth or fighting the world. It is about a quiet, cool indifference to everything that contradicts your vision. If you have assumed the state of being successful and your physical eyes see a late notice on your desk, you must have the stamina to say, "That belongs to a person I no longer am. I am the one who is abundantly provided for." You are not ignoring reality. You are looking at a higher reality. You are refusing to let the shadows dictate your mood. This is the ultimate test of the Creator. Can you be faithful to the unseen when the seen world is screaming that you are a fool? It happens in the small moments. Every time you choose the feeling of your wish fulfilled over the feeling of lack, you are doing a spiritual rep. You are strengthening the neural pathways of the new you. I want to encourage you, do not be discouraged if you fall out of the state occasionally. The stamina comes from the act of returning. The moment you realize you are feeling anxious or small, you simply pivot back. You don't beat yourself up. You just say, I fell asleep for a moment. I am the master of this house. And you step back into the feeling of the end. I would like to speak about the fixed attitude. When you refuse to be moved, you are telling the universe that your imagination is the only cause. When the universe sees that you cannot be bribed by temporary comfort or scared by temporary lack, it has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your persistence. You become the commander of the mirror, not its slave. I'm wondering if you can feel the immense power that comes with this kind of refusal. It is the most liberating feeling in the world to know that nothing outside of you has the power to change your internal I am unless you give it permission. What if the delay you are experiencing isn't a denial but a final check to see if you have truly become the person who is ready to receive the prize? Next, I'd like to speak about the victory celebration and how we turn your daily checklist into a ceremony of triumph, proving that the path you are walking is already paved in gold. Chapter 7. The Celebration, Walking the Path. In this busy nation, we often view our to-do lists as heavy burdens, a series of chores we must finish just to survive or to get somewhere. But imagine you, the divine human, looking at that same list through the eyes of fulfillment. You can transform every mundane task into a celebration of your inevitable outcome. The ceremony of the commonplace. Next, I'd like to touch up on how you actually do this. Imagine you are walking through your house or your office tomorrow morning. Instead of checking off a task to make it happen, you are checking it off because it is part of the life you have already claimed. If your desire is a thriving business, you aren't answering emails to get customers. You are answering them because that is what the owner of a successful empire does. You can feel the joy in your fingers as you type. If your desire is health, you aren't going to the gym to lose weight. You are there to celebrate the strength of the body you have already assumed as yours. I would like to speak about the shift of intent. When you change the why behind your actions, you change the very frequency of your life. You can move through your day with a secret smile on your face, knowing that every step is a victory lap. You aren't chasing the prize. You are wearing the medal while you run. The rhythm of success. I want to encourage you to see your checklist not as a map to a destination, but as a record of your new identity. You are no longer acting to change the mirror. You are acting because the mirror has already changed. Next, I'd like to speak about how this keeps you anchored. When you treat your daily tasks as celebrations, you leave no room for doubt to enter. You are too busy enjoying the fact of your success to wonder when it will arrive. You can feel a sense of lightness in your chest, a knowing that is so deep it requires no proof from the world. Imagine you at the end of the day looking back at what you've done. You don't feel exhausted, you feel satisfied. You have spent the day in the state, and therefore your day was a success regardless of what the shadows looked like. Now I am wondering if you realize that there is a specific perfume that follows the person who lives this way. It is a fragrance that the world finds irresistible. How is it that some people seem to possess their dreams long before the world can see them? And what is the secret to staying in that thank you state when your hands are still empty?